Doug, how we doing? It's super early. Everybody's still asleep. Cars are all parked over there before we launch our big adventures today. Got some interesting things going on today, big stuff. But beyond that, I wanted to talk about the big situation, big picture, and then the specific picture. The specific picture is, excuse my very sleepy face. So everybody knows we've had 3 fighting dogs here, and the owner has been super awesome and really committed and doing her very, very best to try and find a solution that will work to keep all of her dogs in the home, safe, and allow for a quality lifestyle. She also has a 4th dog, right? So who's been a great dog, another big pity, right? So what it came down to for us was, okay, what can we create? What are we seeing? What's the reality? And then being really focused on what's the really truly big mission. Not what can we do, what can we achieve, what could we force, what could we try and manage, what could we try and subject the dogs and the owner to, or the owners to, in order to claim success. So we've managed to have the dogs around us, we've managed to have the dogs off muzzle, we've managed to have the dogs work around each other. The thing that I saw, the thing that we all saw, and the thing that I shared with the owner at length and in depth was the fact that, yes, your dogs aren't fighting around each other right now. Yes, in this highly controlled, highly structured, very rule intensive, no past associations, clean slate, no perceptions of who we are that are going to work against us. We can have your dogs in this kind of space working, as long as we're on top of things, in a safe fashion. Is that a victory? Up to you to decide. I mean, the fact that we managed to move dogs that would attack each other on site to being able to work around each other without muzzles on is a victory, right? As nobody got hurt, no dogs were injured, there were never any attacks, there were never any dogs damaged during the work. And so for that always feels successful, right? But the reality is what we saw when we put the dogs in a very unstructured kind of situation where we had them just around each other, just hanging out, no do this, do that, do this, do that. We just saw 3 dogs that were really terribly uncomfortable around each other. 3 dogs that weren't attacking, but didn't want anything to do with each other. 3 dogs that literally would just kind of if one was over here, the other was like, I don't want anything to do with you. They didn't want to sniff, they didn't want to play, they didn't want to interact, they didn't even want to be close to each other, they didn't want to even look at each other. So when I see that, all I can think about is well, what's that going to feel like for the dog? If we just put ourselves in the dog's shoes, what's that going to feel like for the next 5, 10, 12 years, whatever it's going to be? It's going to be a really uncomfortable, stressful, it's like living with people you hate, right? It's like living with family members or a relationship situation that you can't get out of, that you're stuck in, but you have to see each other every single day. And every single day you're reminded, wow, I'm miserable about the presence of this other person, right? So if you come put yourself in the dog's shoes, what you get is you get this tension, discomfort, unpleasant feeling they have around each other. Now, when we'd work the dogs independent of each other, we'd see their spirit come out, we'd see their joy, we'd see more fun. Patches, who's the one who's done a lot of damage, the one who actually damaged the other dog's leg pretty severely, we'd get her out and we showed video of her out here just like having a blast. She's smart, clear-headed, great dog, but she's got issues with Bella in the house, and she's had issues with Nala as well. So once again, okay, so real quick, let me back up. So that's the dog's discomfort. We haven't even talked about the human discomfort, right? What does that mean for the next 5, 10, 12 years for the human beings that have to navigate, negotiate, manage, supervise, and try and maintain safety with the dogs and try and maintain a life? That we can so easily get caught up in success. We can get so easily caught up in like, what can we achieve? We can so easily get caught up in, well, we can do it. There's a foundational, realistic check-in that needs to happen, and that's that quality of life for all involved should be the mission. That should be the priority over, can we squeeze everybody together and make this awkward, uncomfortable, tension-filled thing work? And by work, I mean just have everybody cohabitate, regardless of how it feels. My feeling after looking at the dogs just kind of in a free space of just being able to do what they wanted to do, and then observing them independent of each other being able to do what they wanted to do, or working with us, and seeing the tension, friction, discomfort, unpleasant space that they were all in emotionally together, versus how comfortable, fun, relaxed, the true dog that they are, come out without the other dogs around. So that really pushed me in a direction to talk to the owner about other possibilities. Now, first thing I said was, if you want to go through with creating this initial, or not initial, but our original concept of trying to get all these dogs to cohabitate and make that the priority, the primary focus, and we're going, guns a-blazing, that's where we're going to go. We'll do our very best to support you in that. But I'd like you to look at dog care. I'd like you to look at the bigger picture of your dog's comfort, your dog's discomfort, what you're looking at as an owner, what your family's looking at, safety, management, stress, pressure, the whole deal. And we talked for a long time, and it was a really, really difficult conversation, but it was a really valuable conversation, because in some ways I think she'd been thinking about this as well, knowing that what she was attempting was what it was going to entail for everybody. So lucky for us, we happen to have our good friends Ashley and Caitlin down here from Goldtail Canine, and they do a lot of rescue work, and they work with a really great pity rescue up in their part of the world. And they actually had this rescue they contacted said that because let me backtrack a little bit. The way the dynamics work in the house with the dogs is that the real kind of antagonizer is Patches. And Patches is the newer dog. And it's a house full of females except for the one that's not here. The one who's not fighting. The guy, right? The guys are the easygoing ones. And I joke. Lots of boy dogs can fight, of course. But the rescue that Ashley and Caitlin work with up there, the pity rescue specific for pit bulls, said they'd be happy to take on, sorry, I've got dog hair everywhere, take on Patches, as long as Ashley and Caitlin Goldhill was happy to foster until they could find a home. And they're really a like top-notch rescue. They do great work. They make sure that dogs, like, they're very selective about the homes. They make sure they don't just go anywhere. They're gonna go to a great spot. Well, so that was the first thing. We were like, wow, that's a really great opportunity. Then we also, Caitlin's mom, who's been an animal control officer, horse person, dog person for a million years, not that she's really old, but I just mean for a long time, a lot of experience, no stranger to like dog stuff, and has been looking for a small female pitty. And she saw pictures of Patches and was informed of like why Patches was here and what the whole dealio was, and said, I would be really interested in checking out Patches. So anyways, the long and short of it was, we sat down, we talked about all the different possibilities, talked about what life could look like, talked about how their dogs felt around each other, talked about the real mission, guys, the real mission, the mission of like, what you have to define. What is success? Is success forcing something in order for you to claim as a trainer success, or as an owner to claim success, feel, okay, well, we're making this thing happen? Or success helping the dogs live a happier, better, higher quality of life with less stress and less anxiety and less friction around each other, less tension stuff, and the same for the human beings? To me, that's the bigger mission. That should be everybody's goal, is how do we make this the best we can make it, even if it means we change things up, right? It's not like surrendering, waving the white flag. It's not giving up. It's not failure. It's nothing like that. It's about prioritizing what's best over just ego stuff, or over just like that. I keep using the word mission because it's, I just know how easy it is to get locked into the thing of like, we will find our, this is the mission, and we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna knock this out of the park, and all reality to be damned, but we're gonna make this happen. I just know it's such a dog trainer space to fall into, and it's an owner space you can fall into. And so I've talked about this a little bit in Instagram stories and some other places lately, and I really wanted to bring this around talking about this one. I wanted to wait until we really had some kind of finality about where we were going with it before I kind of jumped into it. So just to kind of wrap this up, Patches is going to be fostering with Caitlin and Ashley at Goldhill Canine, unless Caitlin's mom decides to take her, which would be great, because then she ends up, with a home straight away. Regardless, she ends up being very well taken care of by highly experienced people, and has a rescue behind her that is working actively to get her placed, which actually manages to place a ton of pitties. So it's not like she's just going to be warehoused somewhere. It's a really good, like, trying to place pits. There's so many of them out there. So I was trying to explain to the owner, trying to place pitties when there's so many out there, pitties that have no issues, is really, like, incredibly hard. Trying to place pitties that have any history or dog aggression issues, like, unbelievably hard. And so to have two options that were so great was just an incredible luxury. So the owner, even though it was really hard for her emotionally, made such a super awesome, amazing, fantastically unselfish decision to rehome Patches, or give Patches a shot at a new place, a new home, a new life, where the fit and the dynamic can be a better fit and a better dynamic. And so all of the team, all of us, we all applauded her. We didn't like literally applaud her, but we all applaud her for making such an incredibly heart-wrenching decision, because she's really attached to Patches, but it's just not the best for her and her family. So what she has is, she has Bella, and Bella is a dog that's got, 8 years old, the one with the bad leg, has some stuff. She's gonna keep she's gonna, instead of having you know, three females that want to fight, she's going to have Bella that she has to keep her eye on, and there's definitely going to be management involved. Bella's like in a very different gear than she was when she came in. Nala, the big girl, is by and large a non-issue. She's only kind of gotten pulled into things when things have gotten dumb, you know, fights have broken out, and she's been like, well, I guess I gotta be a part of this. She's not going around looking for fights. She's a very sweet, soft dog. And so she's really stressed out by all this stuff going on. So the good news is Nala's staying with her, because Nala's a great dog. Bella's going to stay with her. And then they also have their other dog. I think his name is Aiden, the male. And Nala and the male, Aiden, get along really, really well. They play, they have a great time, super comfortable with each other. So they're going to be kind of like the pair. And then Bella will be a dog that she'll definitely continue to work and move forward and keep pushing for progress, but will likely have a lot of management involved to ensure safety for the rest of the dogs, because the last thing we want her, and I know the last thing she wants, is to put Nala in a place where Nala goes from being the sweet, easygoing dog to a dog that lives in a war zone and becomes war zone mindseted, if that makes any sense. Like, gets into a war zone mindset of, oh, I've got to always be proactive, I got to be protecting myself, I'm going to go after other dogs, I'm going to try and fight first, ask questions later. That's what happens when dogs live in high stress war zone situations where dog fights break out all the time. They become, they're constantly on edge, they're constantly worried, they're constantly ready for trouble, and they become proactive, and fights just become the norm. So anyways, that's just to wrap this up. That's the reality. That's the decisions that we came to as a team, and when I say team, I mean our team and the owner team. And those, to me, I'm really happy with the decision. I feel like it prioritizes the dogs at the highest level, their happiness, their ability to enjoy a bigger, more comfortable life, and same for the owners, their happiness, their ability to enjoy a bigger, more comfortable life. So it's a win-win, and oftentimes getting caught up in this mission of just like the win being only if the outcome is that we've succeeded somehow in mashing things together or making things work that maybe aren't supposed to work. I think it's really a cool thing for trainers and owners to take another look at what the mission really is. And the mission should be whatever serves everybody in the grand picture, the grand scheme, best at the highest level. And I think that's the outcome that we've got here, is a really, really great outcome for a very, very tough situation. And if anybody's like, oh, see, you couldn't train those, I have no ego, zero ego about what we could or couldn't do. Like I said, the dogs were able to do the stuff around us, but going back home is such a different story. Dog trainers get caught up in what they can do, and they forget about what happens when dogs go home. They forget about how easy it is for dog trainers to create a structured, rule-intensive environment and always be on their toes and be always like, that's what we do. Owners are living a different life. They've got different experiences, different skill sets, different things on their mind, and being in that place is not where they naturally come from. And to do that work is something that's an incredibly tall order for them. And then like I said, all the past stuff that dogs have with them just they go back into the environment where the wars were, they go back into the environment where the triggers are, and the chances of success are incredibly hard. And when you have big dogs like this who've done big damage, the potential, the fallout risks are just so enormous for dog and human, that I think that this mission choice, and this priority choice, and this prioritizing the very best, I think ends up being the very best. So I'm really excited about it. We're all really happy for everyone involved, and I think everyone's going to do better and live better and be happier. And so I applaud the owner for making such a hard decision, but I think she made the right decision. So just wanted to fill you guys in, let you know what's going on. Be sure to prioritize what's best, not just victory in the ego sense, right?